All right, boys and girls, now it's time for our writing workshop where you are developing and writing about an animal in a setting, and we're gonna be publishing that. So today we are going to, because you already planned and you organized it, remember you had this on page 93 in your writer's notebook, and this was the one I did for the animal that I chose, and yours will look very different, but we're gonna use these. Remember, these are notes. This isn't how you're gonna use this today. And on 3 separate sheets of paper, you're gonna write the beginning, the second paper, you're gonna write the middle, and then the third piece of paper, you're gonna write the end. And so, because these are my notes, remember the beginning, Penny the panda lived in the forest. I decided that she had a friend, an ox that she wanted to go visit, and they watched clouds together, and then Penny went back home. So that was how I organized just some brief notes. And then, so now I'm going to write about it, which I already did. I want to show you how I did it. And it's important to include details and everything. So pretend that this is just the top part of my story. So this is how I wrote the story. And I added some more detail to the story as I was writing. I wrote, for the beginning, Penny the panda lived in a forest. She lived close to her friend, Otto the ox. One day, Penny's parents let her visit Otto. So that's what I had at the beginning of my story. So I added a lot more detail. She lived close to her friend, and that tells you that Penny the panda is young, maybe like you, because she had to ask her parents if she could visit. So now, I'm going to pull this down and tell you how I did the middle, so you don't get it mixed up. So, ta-da! So this is how I wrote it in the middle. First, Penny took off I made a mistake here, so her shoes, and I meant to write slippers, so I wrote slippers, and put on her boots. Because when you think about it, if she's gonna go to her friend's house, she can't go in slippers, so I just imagined and thought about something that she was doing that way. So then she walked down the path to Otto's home. Now in my notes, originally I didn't say anything about a path, but I just imagined how she would get there, how would she know she lives in a forest, and I just began thinking about that and adding those kinds of detail, that kind of detail. So then I said, they decided to watch clouds together. Now, if you remember our words watch and wonder and world. I wanted to use those big vocabulary words in my story too. So why don't you try to use some of those? So that's how I made the middle. And then in the end, this is what I wrote. In the end, Penny walked back to her home. Her parents were waiting for her. So this is just a draft. I might have to come back and change things and add some details, and maybe I might change my mind. Maybe they didn't look for clouds, or I can just add it whatever I want as I go. But as you're writing this, I want you to develop who are the characters, what's the setting, and then what are the events that's happening. That's how you write a narrative. Now remember, add some really good details, zoom in and add detail to bring your story to life. And I hope you enjoyed this process. Go ahead and do it on 3 separate pages. You can draw pictures at the top, and then write your sentences. Each one should be at least 2 sentences for each page as you're writing about that. You can always do more if you'd like, but take your time and enjoy the writing.